Welcome to Mind the Gap, the podcast that explores the spaces between who we are and who we strive to be. Today's episode, no regrets, just lessons, rethinking our biggest mistakes. We all make mistakes, some small, some life-altering, but how we respond to them, that's where real growth happens. In this episode, we'll explore mistakes through the lens of Stoicism, emotional intelligence, modern psychology, and spiritual wisdom. We'll also look at real-life examples, people who turn their biggest setbacks into stepping stones for success. So, whether you've made a wrong career move, stayed too long in the wrong relationship, or made a financial misstep, this episode is for you. Because mistakes don't define us. Our ability to learn from them does. Here's Michael.
Mistakes. We all make them. You, me, everyone. No matter how experienced, skilled, or careful we are, slipping up is part of the human experience. But let me ask you this. How do you feel about your mistakes? Do they weigh you down with regret, or do you see them as lessons? I want you to think of a mistake you've made recently. It could be something minor, like forgetting an important date. Or maybe it was something bigger, a choice that set you up on the wrong path in your career, a relationship you stayed in too long, or a financial decision that cost you dearly. Whatever it is, let's talk about how we recover and move forward. Now, before we go further, let's make a distinction. This episode is about personal mistakes, errors in judgment, choices that didn't work out, regrets that weigh on us. However, some mistakes cause actual harm to others, and those require a different kind of reflection. When our actions hurt someone else, recovery isn't just about learning a lesson, it's about accountability, making amends, and ensuring that we don't repeat the same harm. Owning these mistakes is crucial. Sometimes seeking forgiveness is part of the process. That's a deeper conversation, one that deserves its own space. Today, we're focusing on the personal mistakes that shape us, how we deal with our missteps, learn from them, and move forward with resilience. The Stoics took a no-nonsense approach to mistakes. They didn't see them as personal failures, but as part of life's unpredictable nature. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote the now famous quote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you'll find strength." Now that's worth remembering, isn't it? Mistakes happen, but what really matters is how we react to them. Seneca had his own take on it.
A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials.
In other words, mistakes shape us, refine us, and help us grow. So instead of beating ourselves up, let's ask, what can we control? What can we learn? How do we move forward with integrity? Have you ever made a mistake and felt that awful wave of embarrassment, frustration, or guilt? That's normal. Emotional intelligence helps us navigate those feelings. Daniel Goleman, who brought emotional intelligence into the mainstream, says self-awareness is key. When we own our own mistakes without defensiveness, we grow instead of repeating them. Then there's self-regulation, the ability to pause and process instead of reacting impulsively. The next time you make a mistake, stop for a second. Breathe. Ask yourself, what's really happening here? Am I overreacting? When we develop that pause, we give ourselves a chance to learn instead of spiraling into self-criticism. And then there's self-compassion. Dr. Kirsten Neff talks about treating ourselves with the same kindness we offer a friend. Think about that. Would you talk to a close friend like you talk to yourself after a mistake? Probably not. So let's start shifting that inner dialogue. Now let's talk psychology. Carol Dweck's growth mindset concept is a game changer. She tells us there are two ways to think about mistakes. A fixed mindset, I failed, so I'm a failure, or a growth mindset, I made a mistake, so I can learn from it. It's a slight shift, but it changes everything. Then there's cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which helps us to reframe negative thoughts. Instead of thinking, I messed up, now everything's ruined, try, I made a mistake, but I can learn from it and do better next time. That tiny change in self-talk makes a huge difference. Dr. Angela Duckworth's research on grit also plays a role here. Grit is about pushing forward despite setbacks. The people who succeed in life aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who fail, learn, and try again. Some mistakes feel more significant than others. Choosing the wrong career, staying in the wrong relationship, and making a poor investment can shake us to our core. But here's the thing, they don't define us. Wrong career? Well, it's never too late to pivot. Seneca reminds us,
It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult.
whether a career change or a slight shift, there's always a way forward. Wrong relationship. Ending something that no longer serves you is hard. But Musonius Rufus, another great Stoic, advised that we choose relationships that help us grow, not hold us back. If you've made a mistake in love, reflect, heal, and trust that better things are ahead. Financial mistakes. We've all been there. Warren Buffett, one of the world's most successful investors, says,
The most important quality for an investor is temperament, not intellect.
it's about patience, learning, and not making the same mistake twice. Think about some of the most successful people in history. They all made huge mistakes. Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, the company he co-founded. That failure forced him to rethink everything, and when he returned to Apple, he led it to its greatest success. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first job as a TV news anchor. She was told she wasn't cut out for television. Imagine if she'd let that mistake define her. J.K. Rowling faced multiple rejections before Harry Potter was published. Her earlier struggles shaped resilience, making her one of history's most successful authors. Mistakes are part of success stories. They don't end the journey, they shape it. If you examine different religious and spiritual traditions, you'll see a common thread. Mistakes are part of being human, but redemption is always possible. Most spiritual teachings discuss forgiveness, both for ourselves and others. They remind us that mistakes don't define us. What matters is how we grow from them, whether through self-reflection, making amends, or simply choosing to move forward. These traditions guide us towards resilience and renewal. So what about a few practical tips? Number 1, pause and reflect. Don't rush to judgment. Ask yourself, what happened and what can I learn from it? Number 2, own it. No excuses, no blame shifting. Owning a mistake shows maturity and earns the trust of people around you. 3, reframe it. Instead of seeing mistakes as failures, consider them as lessons. Number 4, make a plan. If you can do something to fix it, do it. If not, use it as a stepping stone for better decisions in the future. Be kind to yourself. Remember you're human. Speak to yourself with compassion. Learn from others. Talk to people who've been in your shoes. Their wisdom will help guide you. And finally, move on. Once you've done the work, let it go. Carry the lesson, not the guilt. Listen, mistakes aren't the enemy. They're part of life. The Stoics tell us that our response to mistakes matters. Emotional intelligence helps us to process them. Psychology gives us tools to learn from them. Spiritual traditions remind us that mistakes don't define us, growth does. As Ralph Waldo Emerson said,
Our greatest glory is not in never failing, but in rising every time we fall.
so the next time you make a mistake, and you will, remember that it's just another step in your journey. Take the lesson. Leave the guilt. After all, life is full of gaps between who we are and who we strive to be. And Mind the Gap is here to help you navigate them.
That's it for today's episode of Mind the Gap. If you found this conversation helpful, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who might need to hear it. We'd love to hear from you. Connect with us on social media or visit mindthegap.ie.